apples are sweet with the intent to be eaten, digested by an animal, and released as waste somewhere else, where the waste acts as a vessel and as fertilizer necessary for successful growth. Billie Holiday sang a song about strange fruit that hangs from southern poplar trees. This strange fruit was a lynched black body. They were hung high and racists stretched them wide. The innocent hung their head and there they died. But that's not how this story ends, because a few decades later they began to hang again. There's something that I've got to tell you. For the sake of time, just listen as I read Luke 24:44 from the English Standard Version of the Bible. It reads, "Then he said to them, these are my words that I spake to you while I was still with you, that everything written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets must be fulfilled." There's something that I've got to tell you. The Romans lynched Jesus. Lynching is more than hanging. It is a white blood ritual by which they affirm their supposed superiority for the community. Lynching mobs would often include women and children. Similarly, just as crucifixion was carried out by the white male, women and children were often seen in the crowd. During lynching in the United States of America, they would cut off the phallus of a black man because they were afraid of his fertility, of his virility. Though historically it's the white man who's raped and pillaged from the coast of Africa to the jungles of the Amazon, creating large populations of mulattoes and mestizos. To make a mockery of Christ, the white police state of Rome placed a crown of thorns upon his head because they were afraid of his kingship. Today, black male bodies in North Carolina and Mississippi and Tennessee are not given proper legal protection when their bodies are found hanging from trees. The blood of black bodies runs through the streets of Ferguson and Dallas and Los Angeles and New York. This isn't a southern problem, it's a national crisis. This isn't an individual black problem, but a human problem. Nevertheless, Jesus says that everything written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms must be fulfilled. The scriptures say, as we know, by his stripes we are healed, but there's something that I've got to tell you. That it also says that the Messiah would be numbered among transgressors, for he bore the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors. It was also said that he would be oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. It is also said that he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. There's something that I've got to tell you, that Trayvon Martin was numbered among the transgressors. He was labeled the criminal. They asked this country, Zimmerman or Trayvon Martin, and this country cried out, give us Zimmerman. We want him. There's something that I've got to tell you, Dean Carter, that Eric Garner was oppressed into the hot summer concrete, yet he did not open his mouth because he could not breathe. There's something that I've got to tell you, that Michael Brown, Emmett Till, Renisha McBride, John Crawford, and Kendrick Johnson were pierced for white America's transgressions. They were crushed for their iniquities. African American ancestors' punishment brought white slave masters peace, and by our ancestors' wounds we are healed. We are healed because the same power that resurrected Christ Jesus on the third day lives in me. We are healed because the same power of forgiveness that let a slave be abused, beaten, and battered every day and get up the next morning and say, there's an all-loving God, lives within me. We have the power within us to forgive white America for their transgression. We hold their future in our hands. We are their Messiah, for they were born into sin and shaped by iniquity. But a love of a Dr. King, the power of a Sojourner Truth, the intellect of a James Baldwin is not only salvation for us, but for them. There's something that I've got to tell you. That while black bodies are continuously ravaged by the brutality of a white supremacist mentality embedded into the minds of police officers, that today is Easter. Resurrection Sunday, as we call it, to avoid the remembrance of today's pagan origins. There's something that I've got to tell you. That hope comes in the morning. That while the sting of Good Friday shall be forever remembered, and the grief and rage of Saturday shall not quickly be forgotten, if you will allow just as happy and gave a little shout as he realized the resurrection power that was inside of him. But there's something that I've got to tell you, that as the stone rolled back and Jesus stepped from death to the resting place back into life, the promise of God, that he got caught up in the joy of God, he got up with eternity in the right hand and joy unspeakable in his left. There's something that I've got to tell you, that he got up early on this Sunday morning, not on Good Friday, not on Holy Saturday, but early on Resurrection Sunday. That's why when the oppressed people ask, Lord, how do I pray? When the trans person said, Lord, how do I pray? When the woman said, Lord, how do I pray? He said, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. You see, because in heaven there's joy and abundance and wealth and equality. But Jesus is telling us, Lord, let what is already in heaven be manifested through us here on earth. The Lord came and told me to tell you something today, that there's one more thing that I have to say before I sit down, that there's one more thing that I really need to let you know, that Black Lives Matter.
We invite you to join the Martin Luther King Jr. International Chapel Assistants every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. for services in King Chapel. Gather with us on Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. for Theological Table Talk in the Lucian Tobin Library. Till we gather again, God be with you.